welcome to another ever weird downtime from the Gunderholfen solo dungeon crawl. Last did a big downtime episode on my experience with BECMI, the Basic Expert Companion Masters and Immortals set from Dungeons & Dragons in the 1980s. It is compiled into the rules cyclopedia here, and I did my best to explain like what I like and don't like about it. I had a couple of additional thoughts about BECMI after I recorded that video and was editing it and figured I didn't give the proper context around BECMI, because I think there's this great revival in this OSR community around basic and expert games, and BECMI really isn't a basic expert game. It is D&D. And during the 80s, there was D&D and there was advanced D&D or AD&D. As far as I understand, and I'm not a thorough D&D historian, but there was not an effort to keep BECMI basic. It was more that the sets that were then later compiled into this, there were like 5 box sets. Each one of them came with a book with additional rules. I had the red and blue basic and expert sets, which took characters to level 14, I believe. And then I have no idea what happened in Companion. And then Master, I guess, introduced the weapon mastery skills and things like that. They were walking their players into an AD&D style where characters had these skills and stuff. I felt like it was important to include that context that BECMI isn't necessarily just basic. You know, basic kind of stops with that red box. When we think about BX and the red and blue books that preceded BECMI in the 1970s, I think what we love about it is actually its incompleteness. As I understand, there was talk, there were maybe even plans to make a companion set after those original Moldvay Cook BX boxes. It's great that we didn't get that. It's great that BX got preserved in this way that we could see like a really simple D&D that did not have to walk us up to AD&D and its complexity. So the rules cyclopedia, what I realized, especially because I flipped through it a whole bunch and read different passages trying to answer questions that came up in those last few videos I did, I realized it feels like a lot because it's organized like a cyclopedia. It's not organized like the box sets were, which is this kind of gradual walk through and step through basic to expert to companion to master to immortal. Like you're getting it all at once. And the way, just the general way that, for example, like a character class is organized, and you're seeing like every single level, you're seeing how your skills are going to go up, and you're seeing all those things like what happens when you own land or become a traveling class. That's great, but that was not, you didn't get all that at once in those box sets. So this is a little bit like drinking from the fire hose kind of thing. If you're trying to step into basic and expert D&D, which you've heard about in OSR or BX, the rules cyclopedia is not really going to give that to you because it is everything all at once. To reiterate what I said in my larger video on BECMI, I really appreciate that. Like, I love that there's this artifact that has all of those boxes collected, but especially putting that video together and then having a chance to listen to myself talk about it and think about it some more, I feel like I have a better appreciation not only for BECMI, but for basic expert D&D as found in those Moldvay books. So the next thing on my agenda to talk about in like a catch-up is that I've been getting just like such great informative comments from people watching the video. And that has helped me out as far as how I think about Gunderholfen and BECMI. It's helped me like formulate my thoughts and figure out what I like about, you know, the play style of basic expert and what I'm really looking for. I had a really constructive comment from a commenter, Robbie Pilley, who pointed out that because I was using BECMI for what is essentially an AD&D adventure, because Osric is the AD&D retro clone, my characters are about 10 to 15% less powerful at first level, and thieves are even like skilled less than they would be in AD&D at that level. They made a suggestion that I might want to compensate for that somehow. Several people have suggested hirelings or henchmen, which is absolutely coming for me. I have not been avoiding that for any reason other than my party didn't have any money until a couple of sessions ago. I think that like that information to me about how first level AD&D was already a bit more powerful than first level BECMI, that sort of snapped some things together in my head because I hadn't really considered that. I had done some looking at monster stat blocks, but I had not looked at Osric or AD&D to figure out, is a starting party there going to be more powerful? In other words, what I was doing was comparing BECMI kobolds to Gunderholfen kobolds and Gunderholfen goblins to BECMI goblins, just to see how the power lined up. But I wasn't looking at the PCs to see, am I significantly weaker than I might be if I were playing in Osric? Osric sounds cool. It is available for free, I believe, at osricrpg.com. It is, whatever your flavor of OSR is, or the old school Renaissance. I specifically was playing BECMI because I wanted to learn BECMI. I wanted to learn this game that I feel like I kind of missed out on in my childhood. So I'm sticking with BECMI at least until I feel like I've made up my mind on some things, even though you're maybe going to feel that some things have already been decided and made up. Yeah, so one of the other comments I got was from Dungeon Slime, who their comment really helped me put these thoughts in order about BECMI, because when you think about it as these individual box sets that were coming out over a number of years, the BECMI series as collected in the Rules Cyclopedia, what this really is like just a ton of options. So I think if I were looking at it that way, like if I were remaking this today, I would do it kind of I would have this much of the book dedicated, like, here's how you play with the basic and expert rules. And then it would just be like, and here are some more options you can get. Because that comment was really great about framing up things like the additional character abilities and that like skills table that's so huge. If you think of this as like, hey, we're a table of friends who's been playing the basic and expert boxes for a while, and we're just ready to add in a ton of skills, this has got you covered. The Rule Cyclopedia and BECMI has that for you to plug into, which is great if that's the game you want. That's not really the game I want. So I'm showing my bias when I say, oh, there's too much here in the Rule Cyclopedia, because really what I want is that like slim volume of just the basic and expert, like I was showing off with like just the Moldvay Cook books, which is all collected by Old School Essentials in like a really excellent book. I don't think I need to say too much more to wrap it up here. I don't have a great conclusion other than I wanted to tag on those thoughts about BECMI and Osric and Gunderholfen and where I'm going with that. I think what I'm probably going to be looking at as I go through Gunderholfen is looking up the monster stats as they exist in BECMI, so that I'm not running into goblins that are more powerful for my first level PCs than goblins would normally be in BECMI. But that's probably the only change I'm going to make right here. What I'm really enjoying is learning this as I go and figuring all of this out as I, crawl through Gunderholfen. That said, I'm going to end this video and start filming another Gunderholfen session.